A girl's brunch can be insightful in a lot of ways. You can realize your boyfriend is a douche, that these drinks are a little too strong, and that your friends are really all you need. But this one got a bit too deep, and it changed Cate Campbell's life. Watch this video to find out what she learned at brunch and how it impacted her. First up, what's on your arm? When Cate Campbell isn't swimming or wowing the judges, she usually lays low. She likes to hang out with her friends and go for casual brunches, but this time, one simple brunch changed her life. She was talking to a friend of hers when she saw a scar on her hand. Immediately concerned, she asked what it was. Her friend informed her that it was a melanoma surgery scar. She had had a peculiar mole on her hand that she got checked out, and it turned out it was cancer. Warning bells went off in her head. She too had a mole that she had been ignoring for some time. After all, it wasn't a big deal, right? But the chat opened her eyes, and she booked an appointment the same day. Soon, she was in the doctor's office getting things looked at. A few days later, the fateful call came. Her doctor said they had some bad news. It was cancer. A million thoughts crossed her mind as she tried to make sense of this discovery. Was she going to die? Was she going to lose her arm? Was she going to be a Paralympic swimmer? Is it all over? But there was light at the end of the tunnel. She had caught the mole early. It's still staged, and they could easily remove it. She was booked for surgery the next day, and the rest is history. But Cate wasn't done. Her brush with cancer had made her realize that something had to be done now. Next up, what to do about it. Her melanoma journey made her realize how lucky she really was. She had awareness, which is why she was able to identify the mole early and get it treated. But others haven't been so lucky. She has met parents who have lost their children, people who have lost their partners, and young children who have lost their parents. She's witnessed entire communities being torn apart by the disease, and still, nothing is really done about it. Campbell says that much like a cancerous cell takes over healthy ones in the body, the devastation cancer leaves behind seeps into all healthy parts of society. It's decaying our homes from the inside out. To combat this, she teamed up with the National Press Club and the Melanoma Institute to raise awareness. Speaking at a press conference alongside the directors of the institute, she said that we need to change the way we think about sun safety. Professors Georgina and Richard Scolyer painted a bleak picture of the future if nothing changes. They say that by 2030, 205,000 Australians will be diagnosed with melanoma, and more than 14,000 will lose their lives to the disease unless we take action right now. They called upon the federal government to implement the recommendations they've crafted. What they need now is a long-term, modernized sun safety prevention campaign to reach children and teens who will be tomorrow's young adults. This can only be done through collaboration, commitment, and courage. So far, the Albanese government has committed $14.8 million to creating a network of melanoma nurses around hospitals. But a lot more needs to be done, and all of us can play a part. Coming up, don't keep up with the Kardashians. Cate is appalled by the modern obsession with tanning. The Melanoma Institute says that tan is the result of your cells being traumatized. There is no such thing as a healthy tan, and yet people are risking their lives to get one. Campbell calls this the Kardashian effect. Everyone wants to look like the uber-popular celebrities, and they're willing to go to any lengths to do it. The girls popularized getting a tan and looking darker than their skin tone, and now it's the new standard of beauty. But this is more harmful than we think. Just one bad tan in a child's life can double the risk of melanoma in adult life. Laying in the sun to get a tan can easily be a death sentence. We don't see people advertising not wearing seat belts or drinking and driving because we know that it's dangerous. But why do we advertise tanning when we know the risks? The Institute and Cate want that to change ASAP. She calls out influencers to reject tanning practices and inform their audiences about melanoma. She believes if you have an audience, you have a responsibility. It's up to the beauty gurus and it girls of the internet to get the message across to the younger generation. Tanning is not worth your life. Tanning beds are also not a safe alternative. Indoor tanning increases the risk of melanoma by 75%. Given that skin cancer is one of the top 3 cancers in young adults, it's time time we take it seriously. Cate was lucky. You may not be. Not to mention, there's a lot more to be done. A network of nurses is a good first step, but it's not enough. Awareness must go hand in hand with prevention. So if you take anything away from this video, let it be these tips. First, cover your body. Avoid unnecessarily exposing your body to the sun. The UV rays are destroying our cells as we casually stroll about. Wear a hat with a broad rim to cover your neck and arms too. An umbrella or sunglasses are also recommended by the Institute. Second, don't skimp on sunscreen. It is inevitable that some parts of your body will get sun exposure, but it's up to us to layer on the defense. Use at least SPF 50 sunscreen that protects against UVA and UVB rays. Use the 7-teaspoon rule to apply an adequate amount of sunscreen. 1 teaspoon for each limb, 1 for your torso and 1 for your back, and half a teaspoon for your neck and face. Also, don't forget to reapply the sunscreen every 2 hours. Simply slapping it on and forgetting about it doesn't do the job. You need to reapply it often, especially if you are swimming or exercising. Lastly, don't worry about your vitamin D. You get enough of it just by walking to the bus station or hanging out your laundry. If you are seriously concerned, you can talk to a doctor about taking supplements, but applying sunscreen doesn't reduce the amount of vitamin D you get. Hopefully, you can avoid that painful call from the doctor with these tips. Enjoying this story? Check out the other news we have. In other news, Cate Campbell tells the inspiring story of how she overcame her mental barriers. The 30-year-old swimmer is an inspiration to many. She has 37 medals at her disposal, including 4 of the 5 Olympic gold medals. But the life of a high-profile athlete is not all rainbows and sunshine. Severe pancreatitis has held back her career. She had to quit swimming for a while to get her health back. Then, she was diagnosed with depression in 2020. Before the Tokyo Olympics, she was living alone in Sydney, away from friends and family. As she trained for the Olympics, she was getting over physical injuries and battling loneliness when she just lost it one day. Her power tripped, and she was a mess. She sobbed for hours at the minor event. The next morning, she booked a therapist. This was not normal, and she had to push through. She was able to get help and get better by recognizing that she wasn't okay, and triumph in the Tokyo Games. Second, Campbell is excited to make her comeback. The 4-time world champion took time off to focus on her mental health. She's back in Queensland training for the Paris 2024 Olympics. As her mental health deteriorated after the Olympics, she decided to quit swimming again to focus on herself. Much like Simone Biles, she's giving her body and mind a break from the grueling world of elite athletics. She has only been in a pool 4 times since Tokyo, but now she's back in the water for good. But she's taking things slowly. The first day was just about reconnecting with the water. She understands that she's nowhere near where she was before, but it's all part of the journey. Her first day was slow and messy, but she was ready for the challenge. Good luck, champ. Lastly, a former Olympic swimming champion says Australia is failing at diversity. Former Olympic swimming champion Kieran Perkins says Australia is becoming a superstar when it comes to sports. Their athletes are winning everywhere, but there is a crucial problem that everyone ignores. He says that the Olympics Committee and the coaches have failed to represent the diversity of the country in the Games. Perkins, who now runs the National Sports Funding Agency, the Australian Sports Commission, said little had changed since he left the sport to pursue a career in banking over a decade ago. The show vows to change that. If the sports landscape looked the same in 2030 as it does now, he would have failed his job. That's a big task to take on. As they say, go big or go home. And Perkins always goes big. That's it for today's video. Are you still going to tan now? Let us know in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back soon with another video.